Looks like we're live now. We'll wait a few minutes and make sure there's some people still trying to join. They can get in, let everybody get in the room. And when I said a few minutes, I meant a few seconds. So I'm really interested in this. You're one of the first people actually I know who started really getting into AI. And so I'm actually excited to hear you chat about this and how we're planning to move forward with things. But
We'll see.
All right. Yeah, I think we can go ahead and get started. We're about a minute in here. I want to welcome everybody to joining our webinar, AI-driven test automation in D365 FSCM. The idea today is I'm here with Pavel Wozniak with X Plus, and we're going to be talking about this with regards to uh, automated testing in general, and specifically showing how we're doing a lot of things that incorporate kind of where AI is moving to into testing. And so basically, you'll see from user behavior to test case generation. That's going to make sense as we go through this webinar. And so, Pavel, it's always nice to have you here with us. You've been doing test automation and working in the automation world for about 6 years now with X Plus, maybe even 7 years now. And
Yeah, six.
yeah,
Yeah,
so really appreciate you having here, and looking forward to kind of picking your brain as we go through what it's going to be like AI-driven test automations. So I think we can go ahead and get started. I'll go
yeah.
through the agenda, and also, we're recording this webinar, and so we'll be talking with folks afterwards as well. So uh, we'll make sure to be in touch with you, and we're going to have a time for a Q&A session at the end. I think we'll have a few minutes left where we can do that, and you'll be able to ask questions in the chat, and we'll go through them and show them on the screen and try to answer them the best we can. So the agenda, I mentioned about the testing because that's what we do, of course, with X Plus and Executive Automat's test automation platform that's been around for, over a decade now. We've been doing this. Um, so we're going to talk about some of the current challenges in testing, and then we'll move on to talking about how AI is starting to integrate into that. And we're really, we all know that's where things are moving to in the world. And so it is, as we mentioned here, a paradigm shift. After that, we will talk about how we are bundling what we've currently been doing with what's coming down the road. And so we'll talk about how those things interact with each other. And of course, we're going to give plenty of examples about the risk mitigation benefits of test automation and doing it intelligently and using AI with it. So, and of course, lastly, the overall overarching idea is to secure your dynamics and the future of it. So moving forward, and we'll go through the Q&A as we mentioned as well. So, um,
Nice. I think we will
yeah,
have nice discussion, nice chat. Hello,
exactly.
everyone. And yeah, I think we can start.
Yeah,
Um,
let's get into it, man.
yes, so we will start with the challenges.
Yeah.
Um, we prepared some statistics from different sources to show you not only those challenges that we speak about on our webinars, but also some real life examples and real life statistics.
Yeah.
So I think, Jake, we can start with the first one, which
Yeah.
says that the report says that almost $1 million is the average cost of any issues, any breaks, critical errors with the environment. So what does it mean for for ERP systems for Dynamics? It means that we have to test, obviously, and yeah, and major incidents when our Dynamics is shut down for a day or 2 days, they can be really costly. You can see the average is almost 1 million. So it is
Yeah.
not. not a small cache, we can say.
Yeah, and this is, of course, it amplifies the importance of testing, but it is in fact a reality that businesses go through. Talking with customers who've come to us to help them out because of this exact thing that's happened, and so the risk of an error not being detected before you go live, it's not something that you should under underestimate. It's better to over prepare for something like that than to have it surprise you for sure. The other thing too, with we're talking about challenges with testing specifically, the one reason for that is, as everybody knows, with Microsoft, frequent updates. Yeah, and so
Yeah.
there's a ton of different kinds of updates, and so maybe go through. Basically, there's two kinds. We say OV and what is it, PQU? Yeah, uh, you can tell us a little bit
Mhm.
about those
All right.
and
Mhm.
some of the differences. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, in Dynamics world, in their policy, we have two types of updates. First one is one version update. We have four of them in a year.
Hmm.
These are the major updates. We require some shutdown of our Dynamics instance to get this version. It introduces new things, new features, and the policy says that you can skip two of them, so you can take two updates and later skip two of them, or you can
Per
skip
year.
one, take one. Yeah. But beside one version, there are also proactive quality updates, PQU updates, as we call it in abbreviation. And those updates, they are mandatory. So it means you cannot skip them, no matter which version you have. There are some PQU updates that you have to take. And we can count them as a hot fixes. Uh, in general, the PQU is very good mechanism, because the feature of PQU updates is that they do not require restarting Dynamics environment. They can be installed seamlessly in a background. And Microsoft says that they use safe deployment process with PQU updates. So every update tests all the potential issues before it's integrated to our environment. But still, we have more PQU updates per year than one version updates. For PQU, it can be even two updates per month that we have to take. And even if Microsoft says that this is the safe deployment process, then we are we are sure that nothing should break. Anyway, in my opinion, this is a trigger for testing. So if you want to
Yeah.
keep things perfectly tested, perfectly verified, every PQU, every one version update, then it means that we have to test almost once a month
Yeah.
at least.
Yeah. The continuous testing aspect is what this basically represents. Is it needs to be continuous testing, which of course then leads into how do you get that continuous testing done? Um,
Yeah, and
yeah.
what studies says for now, this nucleus research survey says that 60% of ERPs, they struggle with some issues,
Yeah.
some problems right after the update. So even if it's the safe deployment, even if Microsoft makes his best, I guess, to give us the updates, anyway, this is risk that something will go wrong. And as we can see, as we can see this statistic, 60% of ERP companies, they face some issues
Yeah.
after
And
the updates.
the good news is that there's a solution to this, and we'll definitely talk a little bit more about
Yeah.
that because we see it working on a daily basis. So that's nice. Here's one thing that
Mhm.
makes me that I think about whenever I think about uh, these frequent updates causing problems. A lot of it has to do with reliance on people, business users, let's say, people who are doing the processes on a daily basis, or maybe it's a consultant who's doing something else on a daily basis, but they know the process and being able to share the process knowledge. I think we're going to talk about that aspect and how we can use our tool and AI machine learning to reduce that risk. Yeah, but to me,
Yeah,
that's the problem
we
that
will go
stands
back
out.
to it.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, because this is the biggest bottleneck
exactly.
on test automation projects, the knowledge share and the documentation. So
Yep.
it's connected
Yeah,
issue very.
and so we'll see a little bit about the solution for that here in a little bit. So good.
All right, so let's talk about next challenges.
Yeah.
Mm,
Yeah, escalating costs. Nobody likes to see that, but this is particularly pertaining to manual testing, which a lot of customers that we see when they come to us, that's what they were doing before they start doing the automated testing, and uh, there's still a whole lot out there who are doing mostly manual testing. But as you can see, that's expensive. What's the stats say here? 30-40% of total software project costs come from manual testing. That sounds really high and sounds quite scary when you think about doing any software project. Yeah, the, those numbers to me they sound it sounds more than I would expect, Pavel. But we see this on a daily basis,
yeah,
right?
exactly. This is what I wanted to say because
Yeah.
we do that test automation for 10 years. I remember when we had the first version of executive automates, and we can say that test automation in ERP world was new topic. Many people were hearing about some test automation in ERP, but it was all like invention, new thing on the market. And
Yeah.
right now, as we can see those statistics, I was surprised as well that this much of from project budget can be spent on manual testing. But what scares more is this second statistic, which is below. This study of IBM found that manual testing increase cost of ERP implementation,
As
ERP
you expand.
maintenance.
Yeah.
Yeah, as you expand, and it is even 25% annually. So
Yeah.
after 4 years, you have 100% additional cost just because you were stuck with manual testing. So we could observe it on the market that 10 years passed, and still plenty of companies, plenty of organizations, they are still testing manually. Even today, I had a customer call when they said that they are testing hundreds of test cases each month for manual check.
Yeah.
Yeah. So these figures, they are actually surprising for me as well. I knew
Yeah.
that it was high, but I didn't expect that high.
Yeah, I think part of the reason in my head anyways is the reason that it is so high is that it's generally more expensive people who are doing this kind of manual testing is we often will talk with companies and some of them will have end business users, the end users doing some of the testing and things like that and they don't like doing that so much because there's mm, less dependency or less consistency of them actually doing the testing. They're trying to do their normal work, and so oftentimes it's actually like consultants and higher priced people who are tasked with actually doing the at least sharing the knowledge of what the process looks like. And so that might be some reason why that prices or that cost jumps up so much is
Yeah,
yeah.
it's quite common that business architects they help with testing or yeah,
It's the
even
last thing they want to do in a day too.
yeah, even higher
Yeah,
tier of management sometimes do testing. So we saw in 10 years, I think everything
everything. Yeah, yeah,
regarding that.
yeah, definitely.
Um,
And this ties right into though is as you mentioned as like the scale grows, but also as the complexity grows, which it is growing in Dynamics, the complexity of the platform itself. Yeah, and so that's kind of the next point is significant change in complexity over the last decade, 66% increase, as you can see from one study, and then 80% of ERP implementations involve customizations. Of course, this is coming from Gartner, so there are people who study things like this. So yeah, it's not just the scale of things, but also the complexity is growing. And so again, this is all an argument
Yeah.
for test automation and AI. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. As you can see, from 12 modules, we are advanced to 20 modules right now,
Yeah.
and it looks like Dynamics is growing. And I don't have any statistic for that, but I think we had it on previous webinar that the implementation of new features from Dynamics from Microsoft is really low. So adoption of new things
Hmm.
coming with one version.
Yep.
This is mostly because of manual testing. So if users
Yes.
they need to manually test, there is no time to even check what was new with the version, how we can use new features
Yep.
within the version. So test automation saves the time. So it allows you to focus on new things because you can test within a
Yeah.
days, not weeks.
Yeah. Secure your
And
foundations, and then you can grow. And that's kind of the idea. Test and secure the foundations, and then you can grow more efficiently. Yeah.
yeah, and this integration thinking and customization, we can observe it in practice as well. Every prospect customer that we speak each day always have at least one or two integration to Dynamics, some
Yeah.
third-party applications to do different things, some reporting stuff, some orders management applications. So we can see that almost every customer has something. So
Hmm.
I think this Gartner study is correct. Is 100% true.
Yeah. Yeah. For sure. Alrighty. What's next? I
All
think,
right.
um, yeah. So this is where we're coming into AI starting to look at it. So we talked a little bit about the manual testing, yeah. Now with AI-driven test automation, we're kind of talking in the future, but as we know, that's coming really, really fast. So we can expect to start seeing things. Of course, some things have already happened, but we're not going to see AI that's generating pictures with 2 feet for very much longer, or 2 left feet, let's say, for very much longer. Things are getting quicker, and so talk a little bit, Pavel, about when it comes to test automation that is incorporating AI into it, these benefits here: speed, accuracy, and better coverage. What are
Mhm.
we talking about? What are we looking at here?
Yeah. Here we are looking at some future. Right now, this is like we can say that 10 years ago, test automation was new thing on market, and we were trying to convince people that test automation is the future. Right now, we are going step ahead to also keep up with market, with the trend, and this is what we can observe. And if we take a look on testing specialty at overall, AI is going to be the future. AI is going to be on the top, not only in regarding the dynamics and ERP systems. It is everywhere. You can find already job description which requires some skills to test AI or to use AI in testing. So it is growing and growing. So we think that ERP world will be affected by this paradigm
Yeah,
shift, we can say. And we as a X Plus, as a executive automats, we want to keep in pace. All right, but let's see what future may look like. So we have already studies like Tricentis report, which says that testing cycles are 70% faster with AI. So if you can imagine test automation applications, tools that can by its own find out new test cases in your system, propose new test cases, fix test cases that were broken, or change test cases when process changed. I think this AI testing will allow us to automate those things: script maintenance, script creation, even script execution. You will just wait for the report instead of creating things, keeping up
Hmm.
things updated, keep the data updated for test cases. AI probably will make all those things easier and faster. And that's what AI can do. It can fill the gaps. So if we create test case and data change, AI can find that gap. All right, we
Hmm.
need to change data to be able to reproduce this test case, or we need to re-record new steps or add some steps to the process.
Yep.
AI can find those gaps. So this is how the speed will improve. And accuracy, here we can say that this is similar to test automation at all compared to manual testing. With manual testing,
Yeah.
every test case needs to be executed by human being. So test cases for manual tests, they are very often just the execution of the process with some human verification. Very often we test happy paths. With test automation, we can add more. We can extend our testing scope. We can add variants of test cases. So we can check the same test case against different data, against different requirements, different conditions in the system which are required by the business. So and also edge cases. Test automation allows you to do some tests that are maybe not the top priority for you. They are not core for the business, but still they may break the system if you do some complicated things, some complicated scenarios. So I think like test automation could allow us to extend our testing scopes, our test plans by new test cases, but by edge cases, very often by performance testing. I think
Mm.
AI will be even further.
Yeah.
So AI will test probably all the variants of the process, all the edge cases. When you will create test case, it can create negative tests automatically from it.
Yep.
So different variants, they may get generated instead of recording, keeping up the data. So accuracy, I think, will be significant. People also make mistakes, right? When you test manually, some people may forgot to click on something, may forgot to register things, register errors, or just do not see that something happened, some error popped for a second. AI will get everything. It will know when something happened. So this coverage, I think this is biggest benefit. Not even this speed, but the coverage, the
Yep.
extension. Instead of 200 manual test cases, you will be able to run 1,000 AI-driven test cases. So I think this will be the future for process testing, ERP testing. And yeah, today we will show you how we are moving to this way, how we wanna keep up with the trend. Of course, we are not yet in the place where we can say that everything is automated automatically for you, but still we have very nice things that might be interesting for you.
Yeah. It's kind of starting to bridge the gap between
Yeah.
where we were just talking about and where things currently are. And uh, yeah, thanks for that. Is it time for the presentation yet, or?
No, not yet. We have one more slide.
Okay.
Uh, so here I can right now explain you how our products works,
Mm-hmm.
because the intelligent testing bundle, it includes two our products, well-known executive automates for testing, the tool that we have 10 years on market, dedicated to regression testing, performance testing. It is bundled with our new application, which is executive automates for discovery, which is this step towards AI testing and test case generation. So what you will see today, how does it work? So our executive automates for discovery allows you to monitor user activities within your system. So in parallel, in the background, you can track even hundreds of users, track or monitor, and you can see what they do in the system, what they click, what they type to the fields, and all those actions, they are saved to our executive automations for discovery. This simple fact makes this tool powerful already, because
Yeah.
this deep dive into user activities allows you to see how your users actually use the system, how they execute different things within a system. But still, our discovery tool goes one level beyond that, because it then takes all those clicks, all those random activities done by different users at the same time. Then it takes all this data, which is then taken throughout the machine learning algorithms and AI piece as well, which finds in those activities real business processes, where it starts, where it ends, and also it names the processes. As a comparison value to business processes, we use the official Microsoft process logbook. So officially recommended business process shape is the like a template for our discovery tool to discover your real business processes in your system. So you can
Yep.
use this application in your production environment and get real data, real information about your business processes. And then today we have the testing webinar, a testing topic. So the biggest advantage on the bundle of those two tools is that every execution of the process can be automatically turned into automated script for our second
Yep.
product, executive automats for testing. So we can say some of the testing or majority of your test cases, they don't need to be recorded or created. Our tool, discovery tool, works in the background and it generates your test cases for you. So
Yep.
after 2 weeks or a month, you will have a dedicated pack of scripts for your environment, specialized for your business, with your steps, your customizations, and yeah, of course,
And you
executive
can
automation.
test.
Yeah, and you can test. Uh, of course, executive automation allows you to extend those test cases if you want to add additional verifications, some variables, maybe some Excel files with the data, or you would like to make those scripts more secure, more verifying. You can do that, of course, but there's this biggest bottleneck to get the recordings, get the business knowledge to create test case to record it, it doesn't require anymore, because this data is gathered for you in the background.
Yep.
So of course today we speak about the testing, but you can imagine that this amount of data, this kind of data, is useful also for different things. And one of those things is role creation. So based on the business processes discovered in discovery tool, we can also use our third product, which is security setup wizard, or soon we will see new module from Microsoft, user security governance, which will allow you to take business processes discovered by discovery and create security
Yep.
roles specialized for those business processes. So you have one application, one tool, which can help you with testing, with security roles, but more, it can help with all sorts of audits, all sorts of compliance. I think we will go back to compliance thing after the live demo. But also it protects you from risk, from any data frauds, because you can see what users do in the system. And if somebody will do something suspicious, you have the information about it. You can always go
Yep.
back to it. All right, I think we can now switch to live demo, or maybe Jake, you have some comments to that part.
Yeah. So
Uh,
with this tool that basically the idea with the discovery tool is with regards to testing specifically is you don't have to rely so much on people who are doing other things, their other daily work, to share the business process knowledge with you in order to create test cases. Even with any automation tool that you're using
Mhm.
right now, you have to have somebody who can say, here's what the process looks like, and you need then to need in some way, shape, or form record that process. And this discovery tool says, let's take that out of it. And then being able to take it and put it right over into our EA tool, then you can modify it however you would like to. But you have that base process there, and you don't have to take other people away from their normal jobs to do testing. So it removes a significant bottleneck, I think is the overall idea with regards to the testing. But as you mentioned, there's the security role setup aspect of it, and then just having the information that it provides. And you'll show a little more about
Yeah.
that as well. So, yeah.
All right, guys. So right now I will share my screen and I will take you to a journey, very simple one. I don't want to go into the details, make things complicated. I will just show you how the whole flow may look if you have a bundle of our applications. So let me just share the screen. Jake, can you confirm that screen is visible?
Let's see here. I hit add to stage, and so now it's let you in there, I believe. I can see it.
All right.
I know a few people who are watching, so actually let me ping them and see if they can see it too. But I think you can go ahead and start because I can see it.
All right, so we start our journey with executive automates for discovery. So this discovery tool has two layers. This application is in two layers. Right now, what you can see is the web layer, web application, where you can see the data gathered by the discovery tool. And there is also a second layer of this application, which is installed directly to Dynamics. And this piece is simply gathering this information about user activity. And here in the web app, we can see this information, this data about user activities. So let's see what do we have here. So under the events within the application, we have two options, user sessions and user activities. Under the activities, we can filter out.
Oh, hang on 1 second, Pavel. Is
Yeah.
just heard that we can't see it here, so
All right.
maybe if you can try to add it to the screen there.
All right.
For me, I can see it, but I think it's just only for me.
Is it better now?
Yeah, I think Matt's asking. How about now, Matt? Because I can see it. Discovery. Still no. Okay.
Right, let me try to maybe reshare it. Share the screen, entire screen. Sure.
It wouldn't be a live event without a little bit of a technical difficulty, right?
Yeah, live demos, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Is it okay now? Because I shared the entire screen.
Still nothing. Let's see here.
Mm-hmm. 1 second.
See if we can put our technical brains together on this.
I will try maybe to share the window. Maybe this way.
That might work.
It will be better. So Jake, you can add it on stage.
Yeah. It says add stage. Good. I see it.
And how is for the chat?
Yeah. Still can't see.
Okay. Oh, come on. Maybe I will try to jump on the stage again. So 1 second.
Yeah, that's fine. We'll get it figured out. It might be that we have too many of these open. No.
All right, I rejoined. Can you see it now?
There it is.
All right.
Yay. Thanks, Jonathan.
Yeah. So turn off, turn on, always always works.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right,
Alrighty.
so we can go back to this discovery piece. Yeah, so here on the discovery, we can display user activities. So I move to events, and here on the left side, activities. Then it allows me to filter out some period of time to search for user activities. So as you can see, I filtered the newest date, and I can see some actions done by our colleague Bartosz. So I can see that this user at the selected time did this kind of activity within the system, and then I can see in details what happened, what was the form name, where this user was within the system. Maybe let's try to find out more business activity, because here we can see some settings. All right, like click timesheet resources. So here, this kind of activity was done by test user. We can see it was on delegations in project management within the system. Then we can see some more information. You can see which environment it was, which form it was within the system. So we can simply see the activity of our user. We can get details of this activity. On business context, we can see more values from the form. So this way you can find root causes of errors for your users. So if user reports you some issues with the environment, you can find those here. You can see errors that were faced by the user and see which activities led to errors. But of course, you can use it also for different things. And the same way, you can also display user sessions. So if you don't want to filter out only simple activities like click by click by different users, you can also display the full sessions of users. So once user log in to Dynamics application until he's log out, we can see his whole session and what he did at that time. So I can see that our Ferhard colleague from X Plus, he was logged in for 3 hours within the system, and I can see that summary of all his activities, they sum up to 2 hours. So probably for 1 hour he was logged in, but he was not doing any activities within the system. And of course, we can now go into the details, and we can see what exactly this our colleague did within 3 hours period. So this way you can see how users use the application, what they do, how they behave within Dynamics. You can see how different users do the same things within the system. But as we said, this is just the first piece of the application. Of course, it can gather all the activities, all the sessions, but this is, like, we can say, just the start of the story, because from that we can generate behavior patterns. So we mentioned that all those activities, they go through machine learning and AI to point out the real business processes executed within all those activities by different users. So if you take a look right now, I can see now the patterns that were discovered in my Dynamics. So I can see pattern like manually assign resources to a project. So if I open it, I can see in the details how this business pattern, how users do this kind of activity, this kind of process within the system. Of course, you can see how many executions of the process we had. Of course, I have some demo data, so I have 11 or 10 executions. On real data, you will probably have hundreds. And of course, this is machine learning, so our algorithms, they getting better and better in recognizing business processes. The more data they get, the more accurate the patterns are. In my case, I had 11 executions in 11 variants. So it means that all 2 users which are executing this process within my dynamics, they do this process differently. So each time they executed the same process in a different way. Even though that we have 2 people working on the same process, they did this process 11 times, each time differently. So this gives us this information that how users use the system, how they execute business processes. And of course, every execution done by user is here. So we can take a look on real executions of this particular process within our dynamics. I can, of course, see the date when this was executed, by which user, and of course, I have step-by-step information how this process was executed. So this is deep knowledge for any process optimization. You can see which steps they can be removed from the process or they can be adjusted. Tool also marks some potential for optimization. This is calculated based on repetitive actions, slow steps within the process. So the more we can see here, then this execution is better candidate to optimize this process.
Pavel,
And
I'm glad you pointed that out. Actually, I almost jumped out of my seat when you said process optimization. You have a really good, you have 2 really good examples that are actually 2 different ways in which a business process can be optimized, and you just kind of touched on them. But I remember you talking about there was one situation where there was one particular user out of like 7 or 8 users who was doing the process significantly faster than others. And using this information, you were able to identify, hey, this person's doing it differently, and then see how they're doing it differently. And of course, ask them, what are you doing? And it turned out, what was it? They were opening multiple tabs or something like this. Yeah. And nobody else was doing it that way, right?
yeah, a very simple way to optimize the process.
Yeah.
Just see who does the process the fastest way, the shortest way, the most efficient way. So in general, when you have this information about this process and different processes, you can find those ineffectiveness. And what many people forget about process optimization, that these days, very often the process optimization is done in isolation. So what I mean by that, what we can observe on the market right now, that process optimization very often is done for one department, or IT department wants to do process optimization department after department. That's because we don't have data. Which processes are good candidates for optimization? We don't know where we should start. And we don't have this holistic view about the whole company, about all business processes executed in the system. With the discovery application, you have this holistic knowledge about different processes, how they link each other, how they affect each other. So you can plan your process optimization throughout the whole company, throughout your whole process logbook, not just single process in single department. So this discovery piece can lead to really nice optimizations. But today we want to focus on testing, and tool doesn't end on only finding the executions, finding the business processes, because right now every business pattern that was discovered, it can be re-executed within a discovery tool to see if it's good candidate also for test case. So this is what we call this bulletproof test cases, because you can see that some of the executions of the process, they failed on the repeat. So they are probably bad candidates for a test case, but still we have some executions, some different executions of this process by users, which are marked as completed. So we were able to reproduce them, and they are a good candidate to create test case. And they look like a test case. Like here, we have very standard step-by-step situation like in our test cases. So right now, what we can do with the execution is export as a test case for us. And then if we switch application to our executive automates for testing, right now I can go to my project, and script can be imported like this. So I can just import test case, see what happens within the script. I have all the steps, and let's add maybe one or two more. So I have some test cases prepared, exported already. So let's just import them. All of test cases prepared. They are here. I didn't need to record them. I didn't spend time on them. All I had to do is just export what I already have in discovery piece. Of course, you don't need to do that one by one. You don't need to export scripts one by one. And here under automated testing, we have test plan feature, which allows you to add business patterns or even particular executions of business pattern as a good candidate for your test case. And of course, you can export all of them at once to import them to executive automates for testing. And the last step to do in EA, we can create our smoke testing scheduler. And let's select today's date. Let's add and open. So we can say that after 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks, you should have already some patterns found within your dynamics, and some patterns that will be good candidates to export to executive automates. So after a few weeks, you have already some testing, some test cases generated, created. Some of them maybe they will require some maintenance at the verification steps, but very quickly you can get some first test automation without business users involvement or even testers involvement. All right, so let's add our scripts. So scripts which we imported, they now can be scheduled. So I can just add them to my scheduler, and I can press run now to, let's say, execute my smoke test plan. Of course, with just 3 test cases, but today we want to keep things simple, nothing complicated today. And so just like that, we can quickly take the business pattern, create test case, execute this test case, and even more, because we will go to security piece for a second as well.
Yeah.
All right, so this test is running. I think we don't need to wait for the outcome. I can see maybe one of them or two already ended. Oh, we can see that something went wrong. One of them ended with error. On the step second, something. We don't have permissions to the element, so probably my user couldn't visit selected module. But it doesn't matter. We just wanted to show you this whole flow, this whole situation, how it is done. And we mentioned that as well from the execution of business pattern, you can also create security roles. And if we open our security executive automate security setup application, the one that Microsoft purchased from it, so you remember probably we had a webinar about it as well in June. This product of ours will become the standard of Microsoft Dynamics 365, and it will be called User Security Governance. And of course, it will allow you to do exactly the same thing. So what you can do, you can take execution of business process like this manual assign resource to a project. So we can take again this pattern, again the same execution that we used for a testing, And what we can do, we can see what entry points are required. So what security requirements are within Dynamics to do this process, to execute this process by the user. And this information can be again exported and imported as a source in the security tool to create new role based on the entry points found within the execution. In the same way, you can also use whole session of the user again to get the information about entry points and use this kind of session as well to get information about entry points. You can add more, you can remove, you can group some entry points into privileges, or you can simply create duties now, name the role, press create, and within the minutes, this information from discovery tool allows you to create also security roles. So this kind of flow is possible when you have a bundle of our discovery, executive automates for discovery application, and executive automates for testing. With those both tools, and also user security governance module from Microsoft, you can use this data to process optimization, testing, security creation, and also change management, which is also some part of discovery application. Right, so I'll stop sharing. We can go back to our PowerPoint. And yeah, let's talk about the risk mitigation, because this discovery tool has one more piece. So not only the testing, not only the security, we mentioned also the change management. So I know, Jake, you have some nice story to highlight here on the slide. But there is also one more thing that I want to highlight about discovery, because there is a feature within a discovery tool that allows you to put alerts on different forms within the Dynamics or on the users. So IT administrators of discovery tool, they can get informed when some suspicious activities are done by the users. So you can imagine a situation like inventory management manager, so somebody on the high position with high security permissions within the system is doing something with this crucial, with the sensitive data within the system. Inside Dynamics, we have like product plans. We can see how products are made. So this is our business knowledge. And what Discovery can show you, it can show you if user goes there. It will even show you if user will use copy-paste activities. So even if you are all SOX compliance, ISO compliance, and you have all your security roles in place, perfectly matched, still you don't know if one of your users is not copy-pasting some data from your Dynamics. With this discovery tool, once you will know that, you will see who is doing that, you will have proof of something like that, and it will automatically inform you of this kind of suspicious activities. So this is also very nice risk mitigation part of our discovery tool. Right, going back to you, Jake.
Yeah, another part that's really closely aligned to that is being able to use that for like a third-party vendor who maybe they're coming in to do some development for you or help with anything, but they're a third-party vendor that's coming in. You can track those individuals as well and see, you can, as Pablo mentioned, set up alerts to make sure that they're not going places they shouldn't go. But you can also see, hey, are they not only going where they should be going, but also doing what I think is a good job of doing it at a good pace. So it's really helps you with some ROI and making business
Mhm.
decisions whenever you're working with various places because you have the information. I wanted to talk about risk mitigation a little bit differently, not from like the fraud
Mhm.
aspect of it or anything like that, but really good example of a customer who probably is here in the webinar, so they can correct me if I'm wrong. But they had. recently went through a set of regression tests, and they're running thousands of individual test cases. Of course, they've got them using our tool combined into end-to-end test scenarios and things like that. But basically, they were able to find 4 priority 1 errors that would have been released into production. There's no way they would have been able to test for that manually. They still are doing some manual testing, but they wouldn't have been able to test so thoroughly. And the point that I really liked that they made to me is how easy it was using test automation to prove to their managers, in fact, yes, this is a P1 situation. Yeah. They identified, hey, here's something, we found something. And the response back was, oh, there's a workaround for that. And they were able to prove, because they ran thousands of test cases, hey, actually that workaround would cost a whole lot of time, because it would, so many different areas would be needing to do this workaround. And then management, they said, okay, this is actually a priority 1 situation here. And yeah, it really, that's a different type of risk mitigation rather than like the security aspect, but it's
Yeah, of
a
course.
quality assurance aspect. Yeah.
Yeah, this is what we mentioned, that cost of issues deployed
Yes.
to production in
Yeah.
average is almost $1 million. So I
Yeah.
guess this customer, yes, we saved their lives. We can say, right,
Yeah.
with test automation.
We can say they saved their lives with test
Yeah,
automation.
of course, that's their work. But
Yeah.
with test automation, with our applications, you can do things like that. You can find
Yeah.
the issues up front.
Absolutely. All
All
right.
right.
Yeah. What's next? Yes. Perfect. Implementation, scalability, support, Pavel.
Mhm.
Uh,
Yeah. So
yeah.
very very quickly, I don't want to lose time for questions. I want to have at least 2 minutes, 3 minutes for questions. I saw some questions around implementation. So
Hmm.
implementation is done in the cloud. We ask our customers to set up cloud machine where the tool is installed. Then the part of tracker, activity tracker, is installed to Dynamics. Of course, there's some setup needed, and then tool is ready to be used. And what is important about both discovery and executive outcomes for testing, both tools, they are web-based, they are scalable, so you can have hundreds of test cases, you can do parallel testing. Both tools can work with different Dynamics environments. So if you have your test, production, maybe UAT environment, you can use all of them for the testing, to observe user activities. So this can be done, and also this discovery tool works with even thousands of users, hundreds of users at the same time. So you can monitor everyone, or you can decide to monitor only selected group of people. And of course, last piece is the support. We have like 10 years of experience in test automation, in also Dynamics implementations. So yeah, we highly encourage you to contact us if you want to know more, see more. We can have dedicated demo calls together with you guys.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's important to point out this discovery tool is separate. I know we have some customers here as well. The discovery tool is a separate tool from EA. Now we can, of course, bundle them together, but yeah, it is in fact a separate tool that is installed. And Pavel, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's um, like all the data, everything that the customer owns that. It's not something that like goes out into the world
Yeah,
and we take
yeah.
it, right?
That's why we require customers to set up a virtual machine where
Ah, right. Yeah.
discovery tool is installed,
Yep.
because we want customers to keep data on their side.
Yeah.
This is specific data, so customers should manage that.
Yeah.
All right, so
I have a couple good questions here coming up, actually. I'll share them. You were showing, actually, and I think the answer to this is pretty straightforward, but
yeah,
the-
you can filter out and sort your patterns based on the potential. You can also filter those processes with potential, and display only processes with 9 potential for optimization or lower. Yeah, so we can do that.
Yeah. And here's one that I really like, and Pablo, I think you're going to be able to provide good input on this. But the recommendation is it to start running Discovery only after you're fully live on D365? Is there value to starting it, let's say, before
Mhm.
going live? Um, basically from the idea is, would it provide enough data? I think it's kind of it depends kind of answer, but give us some of your knowledge on that. Yeah.
Of course, it depends. But if it comes to discovery application, it doesn't need to be too early during implementation, because too early, if we have this tool, we will have a lot of trash activities, test activities, when developers, consultants will check things, how things works. We can say that if we have some modules already implemented, some business processes already implemented, and they are stable, we know that they won't change too much. This might be the first time when this discovery application can be installed. This is good time. But of course, if you have more modules already implemented, you can also use the discovery tool for some time to generate the test cases. Usually, the 1 month is more than enough to have some test cases already.
All
Uh,
right.
but
I
uh,
had
of course,
an
for fully live environments, then the discovery tool should be installed on production to get
yeah.
real day live data for our algorithms to check out the business processes.
All right. And then another one that I also liked, and I'll rely on you for this discovery tool, actions in CE, so customer engagement, Power Platform, or any other web-based software. Uh,
Not
how
at the moment.
plans for it or anything like that?
Not yet. We won't go that far ahead in the future. Tool
Mm-hmm.
is pretty new on the market. We are still like tailoring the tool, adjusting the tool as much as we can to the market, to Dynamics Finance and Operations. What will come next, we'll see. For now, our focus is on finance and operations.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's what our company does, and so that's why we're focusing on that. So,
But for
uh,
that for the discovery, and
yes,
technical
exactly.
for testing can work with any web application, any web platform,
Absolutely. You'll just have to talk to some business user to
and
record it.
record.
Yeah. Which still, I'm not hearing too many people complain about that, except for the fact that it's hard to get business users availability, which is why we decided to integrate this with testing. So, uh, yeah, nice. I think that's our time for the day, Pavel. Let me scroll down and see if there's any other questions that we missed. We talked about implementing it. We talked about, yeah, I think we've covered pretty much everything here. Um,
I
yeah,
think as well, but I think we have all the questions.
yeah, absolutely. So definitely visit our website, executiveautomats.com. Pretty simple. Our company name is X Plus. Our tool package suite that we've got for testing, for discovery that you saw a bit about today, and for security that you also saw a bit about today is our Executive Automats suite. We're happy to set up live demos for you. We have some trials and things like this. One thing I want to mention too about everything that's done at X Plus with Executive Automats is, of course, we have our ideas and we develop the tool in a way that we have ideas to do it, but it's very community driven as well. So anything that any of our customers or even people who aren't customers yet bring to our attention, yeah, we explore those. So this is really a customer-driven tool. So I think it's worked out quite well for us over the last decade or so. All
Very
right.
good.
Yeah, I'm Jacob
Thank you.
Davis. The smart guy's Pavel Wozniak. We're with X Plus, Executive Automats testing, discovery, and security setup. And yeah, we look forward to talking to everybody soon. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks.
And Pavel, let's hope that this actually